Hello and welcome to Shell Point Today. I'm Adam Brown. We hope that everyone had a wonderful Christmas weekend and is looking forward to the new year. One important note to keep in mind is that the Shell Point Today show, this show right here, will not be seen during the first week of the new year, January 2nd through the 8th. Channel 11 will only be showing birthday, anniversary, memorial slides, and any other pertinent information that you might need to know. But rest assured, come January 9th, we will return with our daily installment of Shell Point Today. There will be some surprising and hopefully welcoming changes to the show over the next several weeks, and it will all begin when we return to air on Monday, January 9th. We look forward to seeing you then. But before we start off the new year, we'd like to take a look back at this year. Now, through January 1st, we are bringing you some of what we feel were the top segments and stories of 2016. So sit back, relax, and enjoy these stories from Shell Point Today.
Hello everyone, and welcome to a special segment of Shell Point TV. This morning I have with me some special friends. We have Joe Clank, who's one of the leaders of the Aviation Club, and she's kind of helped to put this together this morning because we have a very special person here who we've tried to get a couple times. She's a very busy young woman, but this is Lauren Collard, and she is the granddaughter of Gary and Janet Collard, residents here. And Lauren has a very interesting occupation. She helps defend our great nation by flying very big jet tanker aircraft for the United States Air Force. And it's been quite an interesting path to get to this point in her career and her life. And we just thought we'd share with her a little bit and find out about that path because it's a very interesting story. So Lauren, welcome to Shell Point.
Hi,
glad to finally have you here. We've tried to get here a couple times, but Uncle Sam didn't let her come. But anyway, Uncle Sam let her come this time. So thanks for being here and taking the time.
I'm honored. Thank you for having me.
Great. So tell us about how you got interested in aviation. And she's also a distinguished alumna of the Air Force Academy. So tell us about how you got to the Academy and your training and kind of how you got to where you are.
Sure. I grew up, my grandpa and my dad are really active. My grandma, they always had us outdoors doing obstacle courses and swimming and hiking. And once I started looking at colleges, my parents went to Virginia Tech, and that would have been the obvious choice for me. But I heard one of my friends talking about the Air Force Academy. And I went online and I looked it up and I saw cadets running around doing obstacle courses and looking like they were having a really good time. I couldn't see the people yelling at them.
The obstacle course that made you want to go?
That's actually what it was. I thought that looked really cool, and I thought it's like an adult obstacle course.
Okay.
So it was really surface level what initially made me want to go to the Air Force Academy. But I applied there, I got in, I went there, and it was nothing like what I thought it was going to be. We did obstacle courses, but they weren't as fun as they looked on the nice brochure. But basically how I got into aviation, over the course of 4 years at the Academy, we have an airfield there. And when you graduate, about half of the cadets go on to pilot training. So I was there, I got involved in the airfield. I did soaring, I did powered flight. So I flew a lot there. And the officer corps that teaches you and raises you in the military side of things, a lot of them are pilots as well.
So, got through the Academy.
Got through the Academy.
Got through the sail planes. Started flying some planes with engines in them.
Yes.
So what did they put you in first in your training regimen to get to the tankers?
The first jet you fly in undergraduate pilot training is the T6 Texan II, and it's a 2-seat turboprop jet. It's got about 1,100 horsepower, and I think the max gross takeoff weight is about 6,000 pounds, but it's fully aerobatic. We fly formation with them where we're 10 feet from each other, which is a little scary with a big prop out the front. And basically you do about 6 months of training in that, and it sets you up for what you'll need later. And you do instruments, you get fully instrument rated out of there. It was an awesome experience, and it's pretty fast. We cruise at about 250 knots, so it was a super fun jet, very fun.
All right.
Yeah.
Then what?
Then you can either go on to the T1 Jayhawk, which is more like a Learjet, and the pilots that go onto that aircraft are more geared towards mobility and transport aircraft. So your C-17, your C-5, your AC-130s, those kinds of jets. And then there's another one that you can go to. It's pretty old. It's the T-38 Talon that's been in service since 1956. So it's been around the block. But it's a dual engine, high altitude, supersonic jet trainer, basically. And it trains pilots towards the bomber fighter track that you could go.
Did you have a choice?
You did have a choice. Well, with everything in the Air Force, you have a choice. But they'll kind of eventually put you where they need you and where you're best. So you say your preferences, and you just kind of hope God has the plan that you also want. And so I put down, I want 38s because I want to go fast, and I want to go supersonic. I think that would be really cool. And luckily, that's the track I ended up going. I went to the T-38 after that. Another 6 months of that.
And at some point, there's the fighter people and the transport tanker people.
Yes. So the
Tell
cool
us about
thing,
that divide.
The cool thing for those 6 months when I was in the 38, I was training to be a fighter, a single seat pilot. But the T-38, because you're training at such a high level, you can be universally assignable. So from the T-38, I could be in an F-15 or an F-22 or a B-2 bomber, or I could go to a KC-135 or a C-17 because I've got that same training as they did. But it's not vice versa. They can't train in a T-1 and then go to a fighter or a bomber. So that's an advantage to going to T-38. You could choose anything out of there. So upon graduating from pilot training, bombers and fighters aren't really dropping anymore. We're starting to cut back on those. So they put me in the KC-135 Stratotanker, and I'm pretty glad. Life has slowed down a little bit.
Okay.
And I moved to Spokane, Washington, and I fly out of Fairchild Air Force Base now.
Now, are you planning to do this for a few years and then go for an airline job? Or are you going to make a career out of the Air Force?
A lot of people do that. A lot of people continue to the airlines. I'm sure you guys understand, once you get that bite,
Right.
you never want to stop flying.
No.
It's just the best job ever. So basically, when you graduate from pilot training, because they put so much money into you, you're worth a lot of money to them, they say, we want 10 years minimum service from you. So I'll owe 10 years back, and then once that ends, I can, if they want to keep me, I can continue flying for the Air Force, or I can retire at that point and pursue some other passions.
Very good.
Yep.
Well, it sounds like you're off to a grand start in your career.
Thank you.
A young woman with the world in front of you. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Quite an accomplishment to attain what you've attained, and we appreciate you helping to defend the United States of America. Appreciate your service. So, Gary, I'm sure you're a very proud grandpa over there. He hasn't said much, but he's beaming.
Well, I had a moment.
Well, tell us what you think about your accomplished granddaughter.
Well, she's just really special, I'll tell you. But I had my moment with her. We got to the wing ceremony where she graduated from the T-38 program, and they're going to get her wings. So I'm just sitting there, just, kind of numb. And she comes up to me and she says, "Gramps, you're going to pin my wings on me." I said, "Oh my, here I'm going to screw this up for sure." So here we are in this auditorium type setting with all these officers and parents and graduates, and she gives me these wings. Well, now the uniform is very tough stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to pin this thing on her, and I got to push it through that uniform jacket. But them little clips that go in the back to hold it on, I wasn't going to be able to handle that. I was going to drop one for sure. So Lauren did the honors and put the clips on herself. I got the wings on fairly straight, wasn't it, Lauren?
This is a pretty good job. Better than some of my friends.
Boy, was I glad. That was a tough job.
But you got it done.
I did get it done, yeah.
All right.
And we're blessed to have her for a granddaughter. She actually got me to sit in the T-38 simulator.
Uh-huh.
That was a tough 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Especially when she reached over my shoulder and pulled on the afterburner.
Oh, okay.
You can actually feel it in the sim. It rumbles under your seat.
I said, "Oh my, I don't want to do it." Then she asked me if I wanted to fly through the Grand Canyon. I didn't think so.
Oh boy, that sounds
But we made it back all right. That was it. But we're blessed to have her, and we just pray that she is safe at her job and does it well.
Absolutely.
So,
Well, I'll pray for you and give you Godspeed that
Thank you.
you always have happy, safe landings. So
Thank you.
thanks. So thanks for joining us here. If you're interested in all things aviation, be sure to check out the Aviation Club. The Clanks can tell you all about it. So give them a call and check out a meeting. And there's a lot of interesting things going on in the world of aviation here at Shell Point.
Absolutely.
So again, Lauren, thanks for taking
Thank
the time
you.
to be with us. And thank you all for stopping in to check out aviation at Shell Point.
Hello, hello. As you look behind me, what a gorgeous background, because the sun is now shining. You can see the glistening water on the leaves, and you do see some butterflies out. So this is a perfect gathering for what we're intending to do today.
Being an animal and critter guy that I am, I like working with whenever there's critters involved. And this has been a beautiful augmentation of what we did so many years ago. It's wonderful to see so many people involved and so many people here today. It was an interesting project this time. We did some of it traditionally, but we also did sections of it with one of my contractors helping and assisting resident volunteers actually building the walkway and the deck that we just completed out here. And that was an interesting and fun process, and contractor said that the Shell Point volunteers were as cranky and cantankerous as any construction worker he works with, but they did a nice job. No, I don't think he'd say that if he was here, and I don't think he is here. No, it went very well. We were very happy and pleased, and the guys worked hard. Everybody thought they'd come back in October. The weather would have been cooled off. We'd be out there working in nice, cooler weather. Well, it didn't cool off until Christmas time, so I noticed a lot of sweaty shirts out there while they were out there working on that, and I thank them for that. And I'd just like to recognize those folks, and it was Ed Johnston, Bart Sharp, Goose Goslin, Alvin Williams, Ken Foster, Jerry Wilson, Dennis Staley, and David Lee all put in a lot of long, hot hours out there. So I'd like to thank them for everything they did.
The garden story is all about love, transformation, and dreams. It all began in 1997 when Hermine Hartley gave a loving gift in memory of her mother, Hermine Peppinger. And that's what Bob was talking about when the garden began. In 2011, Gaz Goslin and Alice DeBon initiated the revitalization of the garden because of their shared love of gardening and learning. Gaz and Alice, along with the committee, had a vision of a walkway and deck going deep into the garden that was accessible for everyone. The best way to view a butterfly garden is from the inside out, and their vision was to give the Shell Point residents that opportunity. Unlike many butterfly gardens, we do not import caterpillars or everything is natural in our garden. Survival rate of caterpillars is about 2%. And so the addition of a screen room to our garden will allow us to increase our population dramatically.
I want to, just on behalf of our assisted living residents, and particularly the residents here at King's Crown, to extend a great note of appreciation to you all as volunteers and lovers of the butterfly garden for enhancing their backyard. They have the wonderful pleasure now of being able to walk out and enjoy the butterflies firsthand. As I come and go from the King's Crown and I see our residents sitting on the bench on the inside of the garden, and the butterflies are there. I can see them now, and I can enjoy watching them as they're prolifically coming and they're multiplying. And our residents are truly enjoying an enhanced life. So my deepest gratitude to you all as Shell Point residents for not only giving back to our community as a whole, but giving back to the residents here at Kings Crown. Your efforts, your gifts, and your hard work are appreciated. So thank you from us to you as Shell Point residents.
Father, you alone are the one that produces beauty. You're the one who paints the colors on the flowers and on the butterflies. You are the author of the beauty that gives us peace and joy in our hearts. And so today we take this little piece of ground and we offer it to you. We ask that your presence would fill that place and bless every single person that puts their hand to the work in there. And we thank you for the joy that nature gives us and the ministry that beauty gives to each heart. In your name we pray. Amen.
The butterfly garden habitat is a magical place to be. It's a great place to experience peace and tranquility and to share the world of butterflies. We want to thank each of you who made these dreams come true, and please come and enjoy the garden. Thank you.
I'm headed for a city where the saved will never die. There'll be sorrow and joy in the mansion by and by.
There is a God. There is a God. There is a God. How much proof do you need? Plant a seed and see what comes out of the ground. Find the heartbeat on your baby's ultrasound. In a few years, hear him laughing. Don't it sound like a song? Stop and think about what you don't understand. Things like life and love and how the world began. The doctor can't explain it, but the cancer's gone. There is a God.
It's a great honor for me to be here at Shell Point today. I've traveled many miles from the great state of Kentucky to tell you about my famous, to talk about the great country in which we live, how we fight for our freedom, and the men and women who work hard in the kitchen every day, cooking up an original recipe of, wait a minute, that's right. I mean our forefathers who adopted the Declaration of Independence. That's what we want to talk about today. Yes. And we celebrate Independence Day, when in 1776, Congress declared the 13 American colonies as a new nation. 13 colonies that made up the greatest nation in the world. That's conducted by 11 herbs and spices that make for the greatest fried chicken in the world. Hey, was Kentucky one of them 13 colonies? No? Well, it should have been. Then maybe they could have had some of this great fried chicken when they fought the Revolutionary War. Now listen, you can't fight the British on an empty stomach, and nothing backs better for heading off to battle than a bucket of my delicious... Was there? Oh, yeah, the history lesson, yes. It was John Adams who predicted the importance of Independence Day and how we Americans would commemorate this important event with parades, games, bonfires, and yes, plenty of food, just like my 10-piece bucket of chicken here. Now, that's the way you put on a celebration. What's that? Wrap it up? You want dinner to go? Well, we have fine service to go, as well as dine-in facilities at any of more than 4,000 restaurants nationwide. Anyway, so Shell Point, you go out and celebrate the 4th. Be proud to be an American. Wave your flags, fly your banners, and don't forget to tuck in a table napkin, because you don't want any of my delicious, greasy, fried chicken goodness to drip on your shirt. It's finger-looking good.
And now please enjoy this Listening to the Words preview from David Howenstein.
Tune in this week's Listening to the Words program for a transition from Christmas to Hanukkah into the new year. I'll be reading Shell Pointer Dan Warner's newspaper column, which is headlined, Miracles Prove Christmas Lives. And that's followed by a Hanukkah toy story. Get ready for Carmine Lombardo's fun reading of his own story called Things I Never Told My Mother. Then enjoy several kids' stories and poems ranging from how to put off bedtime to my memory of my older brother and me. I close with the most beautiful descriptive piece I've ever read about my home state of Washington, which ends on the note of the new year. David Howenstein reminding you that this week's new half-hour program will be airing at the top and again at the bottom of each hour of the day and night on Shell Point Channel 12, all 7 days this week. On Tuesday and Thursday, Channel 12 will be running the Village Church service 3 times during the day. Thanks to all those who have contributed stories and poems and or have read aloud on the program this year. And thank you for listening to the words. And please have a Happy New Year to you and yours.
And to close out today's show, here's the Village Church Connections.
Hi, I'm Andy Hawkins. I'm here at the Village Church, and we're wanting to simply offer you an invitation to join us for the first service of the new year, 2017, on January 1. We're looking forward to having an opportunity to share the Lord's Supper together, and we'll also be talking a lot about what it means to be loving in our community. The community here, which desires to build a community of forgiveness, purpose, and hope in Jesus Christ, and it's built around the issue of love. So I'll be returning to the series that I was engaged in for quite some time on 1 Corinthians 13, and we'll be examining that even as we enjoy the Lord's Supper together. So we hope that you'll join us this Sunday at 10:15 for our first service of the New Year's on January 1. Hope to see you then.
Thanks for joining us for today's show. Be sure to return tomorrow when we'll have more of the best of 2016 to show you. Don't forget, we will be off the air January 2nd through the 8th, and we'll return January 9th with the Shell Point Today program in a new format. We hope that you'll be looking forward to that. Until then, I'm Adam Brown, thanking you for watching, and on behalf of everyone here at Shell Point TV, we hope you're enjoying the holidays. Goodbye, everyone.